Hi, good evening. My name is Daniela Millan, and today I'll be presenting Hershey's Strategic Performance Midpoint Analysis. Today, I'll be presenting a strategic overview of the Hershey Company, an international confectionery company headquartered in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Often referred to as the chocolate world, Hershey is not only home to one of the most beloved chocolate brands globally, but also to the Hershey Park, a symbol of the brand's deep connection with community and entertainment. The value of Hershey brands lies in several key pillars. First, its robust portfolio of more than 80 brands has positioned it as a leader in the confectionery market. Second, its unwavering commitment to strategic expansion and innovation, such as its investment in 3D printed chocolate technology, demonstrated Hershey's dedication to staying ahead of market trends. Third, Hershey's focus on sustainability and impactful projects has solidified its role as a socially responsible corporation, addressing environmental challenges, cocoa sourcing, and ethical practices. In this key analysis, I'll explore how Hershey's uses strategic techniques to maintain its industry leadership, grow internationally, and adapt to an increasingly health-conscious and competitive global market. I will also review key financial data, examine their acquisitions such as Crave and Brookside, and evaluate the external challenges they face, particularly in markets like China and Mexico. Ultimately, the goal of this presentation is to analyze Hershey's performance, emphasizing the strength of its diversified product line, its consistent revenue growth, and the constructive impact it has created through ethical leadership, sustainability, and innovation. In this analysis, I have used several strategic tools, including SWOT analysis, competitive profile matrix (CPM), space matrix, internal factors (FIF), and external factor (EF). Evaluations. These tools are useful in evaluating internal and external conditions of the company, its financial position, the state of the industry, and the course of actions that needs to be taken. To analyze Hershey's strategic position in the market, I apply one of the most widely used tools in strategic management, the SWOT analysis. This method allows us to evaluate Hershey's internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as the external opportunities and threats that shape its business environment. Let's begin with the strengths. Hershey offers a wide variety of products that are available in over 70 countries, which highlights its global reach. It is also recognized as the top chocolate manufacturer in the US, with beloved products like Reese's, Hershey's Kisses, and Kit Kat under its brand portfolio. One major strength is Hershey's ongoing commitment to sustainability initiatives, ensuring that its operations positively impact both the environment and the communities it serves. The company's corporate social responsibility efforts are clear in its support of the Milton Hershey School, one of the largest private philanthropic schools in the world. Additionally, the company has achieved steady revenue growth with 2.4 profit margin in recent years. It has also expanded through key acquisitions and mergers, such as the purchase of Kraft Pure Food, which helped Hershey's diversify into healthier snacks segment. This reflects a proactive approach to meeting evolving consumer preferences. Its continued global expansion further strengthened its position as a market leader. Now, looking at the weaknesses. Hershey's sales tend to drop during certain seasons, particularly outside of peak holidays. There is also a noted governance challenge as the company lacks divisional presidents, which can hinder decision making and flexibility across different markets. Another internal weakness it is high advertising expenditure. While visibility is important, Hershey spends more on advertising than the industry average, which could reduce its cost efficiency. Additionally, only one female executive is listed among its top leaders, and minority representation is limited, which reflects a lack of diversity in upper management. Finally, the company's heavy reliance on the U.S. market, which accounts for around 75% of its revenue, poses a risk if domestic demand weakens. A significant portion of its income also goes towards funding charitable causes, such as the Hershey School. While this aligns with its value, it may also limit funds available for reinvestment. Now, continue with the external dimension of my SWOT analysis. Let's explore opportunities and threats, two critical elements that shape Hershey's ability to grow and remain competitive. Starting with opportunities, Hershey is in a favorable position to benefit from global trends. For instance, the increase in per capita disposable income in various regions, especially emerging markets, means consumers have more money to spend on treats like chocolate. This is particularly true in Northern Europe, where we are seeing high chocolate consumption rates paired with a preference for premium quality. Another strong opportunity is the recent decline in sugar prices, which lowers raw material costs and can improve margins. Additionally, Western markets are shifting towards healthier chocolate alternatives like dark chocolate with high cocoa content. Hershey's can capitalize on this trend by expanding its Better For You product lines. In terms of long-term expansion, over 40% of the world's chocolate consumption occurs in Europe, making it a prime target for deeper market penetration. Moreover, technology and automation are unlocking new ways to scale production while maintaining consistency and quality. But while the opportunities are promising, Hershey also faces significant threats. For example, political instability in West Africa, where much of the world's cocoa supply originates, is making cocoa sourcing more difficult and unpredictable. This, coupled with a consistent rise in cocoa prices and a fluctuating US dollars, put pressure on production costs and pricing strategies. Consumer behavior is another concern. There is a growing global shift toward health-conscious eating influenced by rising rates of obesity and diabetes. This trend threatens traditional confectionery sales, especially those high in sugar. On the operational side, Hershey is a competitive disadvantage compared to Nestlé, which operates over 450 factories worldwide, while Hershey's runs just 10. This difference affects global efficiency, distribution, and response speeds to local market demands. Lastly, sales of seasonal candies, a significant part of Hershey's portfolio, tend to spike only during holidays and special occasions, leaving the company exposed to volatile sales cycles through the rest of the year. In this section of the analysis, I apply the competitive profile matrix or CPM to evaluate how Hershey stacks up against two of its biggest rivals, Mars and Nestle. The CPM is a strategic tool used to compare key success factors across competing firms using weighted ratings. It allows to identify where Hershey is leading and, more importantly, where it's failing behind. Let's break down the matrix on the left side of the slide. We analyze several critical success factors, including product quality, brand reputation, global expansion, innovation, financial strength, customer loyalty, and marketing effectiveness. Each factor was assigned a weight based on its relative importance in the confectionery industry, and each company was rated on a scale from 1 to 4, where 4 represents major strength and 1 represents major weakness. From this matrix, we see that Hershey's performs strongly in areas such as customer service, product quality, and CSR initiative, which aligns well with its brand identity and community-driven culture. However, it lags behind Nestlé and Mars in global reach and R&D investment. Nestlé, for example, operates over 450 factories worldwide, while Hershey's runs just 10, significantly limiting its speed and scalability in international markets. When we total scores, Nestlé holds the competitive edge, followed closely by Mars, with Hershey's slightly behind. This doesn't indicate failure, but rather signals where Hershey needs to double down on strategic investment, particularly in innovation, global distribution, and product diversification. Now, turning to the right side of the slide, you will see a strategic breakdown of Hershey's positioning using a SWOT matrix. The strategic outline here align directly with the findings from our CPM. For example, to counter rising health concerns, Hershey's could market low-calorie or allergy-free products. To reduce reliance on unstable cocoa supply chains, they could invest in acquiring land in West Africa or incentivize cocoa farming directly. And to regain competitive ground globally, Hershey should expand into underserved markets through franchising or partnership, particularly in Asia and Europe. In conclusion, the CPMs reveal that while Hershey's holds a strong domestic presence and admirable values, it must be bold and proactive in addressing its international weaknesses and capitalizing on innovation to maintain long-term relevance and profitability. Now, let's move on the SPACE matrix, which stands for Strategic Position and Action Evaluation. This tool helped me to determine what strategic direction a company like Hershey should pursue based on both internal strength and external pressures. The SPACE matrix evaluates 4 key dimensions. 1. Financial strength, which assesses Hershey's profitability, cash flow, and return on investment. 2. Industry strength, which looks at the overall attractiveness and growth potential of the confectionery market. 3. Competitive advantage, evaluating how well Hershey's differentiates itself through branding and market leadership. 4. And environmental stability, which consider economic shift, health trends, and political conditions that affect the company's operation. So, what did I find? The financial position scores came strong, averaging 5.8, which confirms Hershey's solid financial base, excellent working capital, and reliable return on investment. This is a company that is well equipped to fund expansion, innovation, and long-term growth. The industry position was rated 5.2, suggesting that while the confectionery industry holds great potential, it's also a difficult market to enter due to strong competitors and evolving consumer behavior. Think of rising demand for healthier snacks and growing concerns over sugar intake, factors Hershey must constantly adapt to. Now, on the external side, environmental stability received a modest score of 2.6. This shows that Hershey is operating in an increasingly unpredictable world, where issues like rising cocoa prices, geopolitical unrest in cocoa producing countries, and health-conscious consumers add pressure. Taken together, the space magic places Hershey's in a conservative quadrant. This doesn't mean the company should slow down. Instead, it suggests a smart, calculated approach, protecting its financial strength while cautiously investing in innovation and improving internal operation. So, what does that mean for Hershey's strategy? It should continue building on its financial leadership and brand loyalty, but also refine areas like supply chain agility, diversification, and responsiveness to market trends. In summary, this base magic confirms that Hershey is financially solid but must be strategically cautious and its navigate industry challenges and pursue global opportunities. Let's move forward by highlighting the most significant finding from our strategic evaluation of the Hershey Company. On the left side of the slide, we see the space matrix plot, which clearly places Hershey in the conservative quadrant. This position indicates that while the company enjoys solid financial health, including high return on investment and strong working capital, it must still contend with moderate competitive pressure and environmental volatility. These external conditions, such as rising cocoa prices, global supply chain disruption, and evolving health-conscious consumer trends, require a measured, calculated approach to growth. Rather than aggressive expansion, these quadrants suggest that Hershey's should safeguard its financial strength while gradually enhancing internal operation and innovation efforts. Its strategy focuses on sustainability, resilience, and smart investment, especially in today's unpredictable global landscape. Turning to the right side of the slide, we examine the result from both the internal factor evaluation (IFEM) and the external factor evaluation matrix (EFEM). These matrices provide deeper insight into Hershey's core competencies and its vulnerabilities. Internally, Hershey's performed well in areas like brand equity, product quality, and corporate social responsibility commitment. However, there are notable shortcomings in employee engagement and executive diversity, which could hinder longer-term innovation and cultural adaptability. These internal challenges deserve strategic attention if the company wants to remain competitive in a fast-changing industry. Externally, Hershey must address factors such as geopolitical instability in cocoa producing regions, growing health and wellness movement, and the seasonal nature of candy sales, which can lead to inconsistent revenue patterns. To sum up, Hershey is a financially robust and respected brand, but the data suggests it must act with intentions. By addressing internal gaps and preparing for external risks, the company can transition from being a conservative leader to an adaptive innovator in the global confectionery space. Key findings. This slide highlights some of the most relevant findings from the strategic evaluation of the Hershey Company based on the internal and external factor matrices. Starting with the external factors EF, Hershey's received a total weighted score of 2.6, which suggests the company is managing external forces such as market trends, cocoa supply chain instability, and global health movement at an average level. While there are substantial opportunities like declining sugar prices, growth in chocolate imports, and rising consumption in Europe, external challenges such as political unrest in cocoa producing regions, increasing minimum wages, and fluctuating exchange rates continue to pose a threat to consistent performance. Moving to the internal factors, IF, Hershey's weighted score also stands at 2.6, reinforces that the company's internal capabilities are stable but not exceptional. The findings reflect strong financial and brand equity but also emphasize areas needing attention, such as innovation, operational efficiency, and employee satisfaction. In summary, Both matrices reflect a moderate strategic position. Hershey is neither underperforming nor leading significantly, leaving space for improvement, particularly in how it capitalizes on emerging trends and adapts to external pressures. These key insights provide a clear roadmap for where the company needs to focus, refining internal systems, strengthening market adaptation, and leverage global growth opportunities. Strategic evaluation. Very in my comprehensive analysis, the strategic evaluation of the Hershey Company highlights a blend of strengths and areas for improvement. To begin, Hershey is performing moderately well in key strategic dimensions. The company demonstrates a robust brand portfolio that spans globally recognized products like Hershey Kisses, Reese's, and Kit Kat. This brand strength not only drives consumer loyalty but also reinforces Hershey's leadership in the confectionery market. Another significant advantage lies in its commitment to business expansion. Hershey is actively entering new markets and investing in product diversification, especially healthier premium options and snacks innovation. Alongside this, the company leveraged the positive impacts of its sustainability programs, particularly in cocoa sourcing, waste reduction, and its ongoing support for the Milton Hershey School. Despite disadvantages, the analysis also reveals key internal areas that require strategic attention. For example, while Hershey maintains in a dominant market share, especially in North America, it faces increasing pressure from global competitors such as Nestle and Mars, which benefit from broader international reach and more diversified operation. Additionally, although Hershey's brand is highly respected, its internal operations need refinement. There is a clear opportunity to improve employee satisfaction, diversity in a leadership, and internal control system. These areas, if addressed, could strengthen company culture, foster innovation, and build a more resilient organization. In summary, Hershey holds a powerful market position and an enviable brand reputation, but to sustain its long-term growth, it must enhance internal engagement and operational agility. By aligning its strategic effort with these priorities, Hershey's can continue to lead not only in sales but in ethical, forward-thinking business practices. To close my strategic analysis of the Hershey's Company, I would like to present several key recommendations that could significantly enhance the firm's global performance and long-term competitiveness. First, Hershey must strengthen its international marketing strategy while the brand enjoys strong recognition in the United States, expanding globally visibility through targeted advertising campaigns, especially in emerging markets will be crucial for capturing new audiences and sustaining growth. Leveraging digital platforms, influencer partnerships, and culturally tailored messaging will allow Hershey's to connect more authentically with international consumers. Secondly, one of the most pressing concerns lies in the health implications of confectionery products. With rising global awarenesses of obesity, diabetes, and nutritional well-being, Hershey's must respond by innovating its product line, introducing low-calorie, high-protein, or reduced-sugar chocolate options could not only appeal to health-conscious consumers but also position the company as a productive leader in responsibility snacking. Additionally, my strategic tools, including the space matrix, IFEM, and EFEM, reveal some internal and external performance gaps. While Hershey's remains financially sound, it performs below optimal levels in areas like environmental adaptability, product innovation, and internal controls. To address this, the company should invest in employee engagement, improve internal communication channels, and strengthen cross-functional leadership diversity. Finally, Hershey should adopt a forward-thinking mindset, balancing its legacy with innovation by listening to evolving consumer demands and responding with agility. The company can secure not just market share but long-term relevance. This recommendation, if implemented effectively, will allow Hershey's to evolve from a traditional chocolate brand into a global, wellness-oriented, and innovation-driven powerhouse in the confectionery industry. To conclude this strategic analysis of the Hershey's Company, let me provide a brief recap of the essential points I've covered. I begin by outlining Hershey's operation and its significance in the global confectionery industry, where it has firmly positioned itself as a market leader. The company's identity is built around a powerful and iconic brand portfolio, backed by a long-standing history, consistent innovation, and social responsibility. Throughout the presentation, I applied the strategic evaluation tool such as the SWOT analysis, space matrix, internal and external factors evaluation matrices, each providing deep insight into the company's strengths, challenges, and potential strategic direction. My findings revealed that while Hershey's maintained a strong financial standing and brand presence, there are critical areas to address, including the need for healthier product alternatives, a stronger global outreach, and internal improvement in leadership diversity and employee engagement. As a recommendation, Hershey is encouraged to expand its advertising effort globally, innovating its product line to align with modern health trends, and enhance its external structure to support long-term sustainability and resilience. In summary, Hershey stands as a strategic crossroad with the potential to transform from a traditional confectionery powerhouse into a modern, globally agile, and health conscious brand. Thank you for your time and attention. It has been a pleasure to present this analysis and contribute to a deeper understanding of such a dynamic and evolving company. Have a good night.